Welcome back to the I Just Love Footy YouTube channel. Today I just want to have a little quickfire spitball about the incident that occurred on Saturday night between Mason Cox and the midfield group of GWS pre-game. Now, if you missed it, essentially what came out on Saturday night initially was footage which seemed like Mason Cox had come across into GWS's midfield group where they were already doing some ruck work prior to the game, and that's what it seemed like. It seemed like Mason Cox had ran in and stole the ball essentially and ran away on his own accord to wherever he was heading to from there. And in the little context and in the little scope that we saw in that situation, it did seem like Mason Cox was truly being a bit of a smart ass and continuing the antics that have been surrounding the build up in the game and the anticipation, which, mind you, I actually really don't mind this Americanism when it comes to this pre-game anticipation. I think it creates an interesting narrative. It gives a little bit of heat. It reminds me of times like when Langdon, before the Collingwood-Melbourne game a couple of seasons ago, said Collingwood's all duck, no dinner, in regards to Ginnivan always ducking. And I like that. And I think that should... I think there's a place in that for our game. I really do. That's just me personally. And if you are going to be a goose, as we thought Cox was being on Saturday night, then if you have a shit game like he did and had no touches in the first half, then he knows that's you sleep in the bed that you make. But then 48 hours later, after all the vitriol and all the insults and all the attacks online, Channel 7 and the AFL decide to release extended footage behind that incident that occurred. And what our interpretations of that incident seemed to be on Saturday night, it completely shifted Monday morning, Monday afternoon, when the extended footage started to come out. We seen here, and I'm just going to play it on my end just so I can recall it play by play. But Cox is already there with the one of the trainers with the ruck padding, and Cox is suggesting he wants to have one more run at it. And basically the umpire is already getting his bounce going as the GWS midfield group are rolling through. Mummy goes right through the middle and is in the direct site of play or line of play where the ruck contest is supposed to happen with Coxie. Mumford almost braces for it as if he's trying to check Mason Cox, and then Mason Cox has no other choice but to sort of engage with Mummy, and then he takes the ball and goes off in his merry way and then moves on. So really it was GWS impeding Collingwood's playing time in the middle initially, and Coxie was within his own right to have that last contest and was made out to be the villain in this situation. And Coxie does play into the role of the villain when it comes to a lot of the build-ups in the game. But in that situation, he's not liable for what transpired in the middle. And Buckley said on the couch, this is something that happens every now and then pre-game, where there's a bit of a situation where the midfields of both teams lock horns to battle for more time in the middle to do their ruck contests and their centre clearance work. So this was obviously just another situation, and it was unfortunate that it was between Mason Cox, who has been pestering and heckling the GWS fans for the last week or so, and obviously butting heads with Shane Mumford, a very likeable character inside of GWS and the rest of the midfield. So I think this is the ultimate type of situation where manipulation by the media was utilised, and they utilised it for clicks and likes and views, and they got that. They got that and more at the expense of Mason Cox. And if the AFL want to preach well-being and protect the head and protect the players, then why does this extended, raw, uncut footage come out 48 hours after the fact? 48 hours after Mason Cox has taken beatings online. Vitriolic comments, insults, probably personal attacks. I don't obviously look into this stuff, but I know what came about off the back of that initial release of the shortened footage version on Saturday night, I seen it floating around. So you can only imagine the things that would have been said about Mason Cox in those comment sections. So do the AFL and Channel 7 or whoever it was, should they take some sort of sense of responsibility for not releasing the correct amount of footage that should have been delivered rather than what they initially went out with? Because they've clearly said, all right, well, we can protect Mason here, or we can cut this footage to make it look like Mason Cox is a prick and is a smart ass and X, Y, and Z. So they've gone for the viewership, they've gone for the clickbait, they've gone for the like. So in spite of all these things, the AFL and Channel 7 and whoever it is, in spite of what they're doing to improve the game, improve the protection of the players, the well-being, they then go ahead and do something like this where, they pretty much put Mason Cox's neck on a chopping board and let the fans in the general AFL world have at it from there. So really disappointing. Mason Cox shouldn't be apologising. Fuck that. It should be the AFL. It should be Channel 7. And they should be quicker to attend to this, because it grew very quickly. It went viral, if you will. And Mason Cox had to wear the brunt of it, and it was unsolicited. So I think AFL and Channel 7 need to do better. I don't know how much the narrative is going to change around this. Is it enough of it? Is the footage 2 days later enough of a shift, and will it have enough of impact to say, hey, well, the sports media and AFL need to do better in this situation, because this is just unacceptable. So I'm intrigued to see where this all goes over the next few days. Obviously, the footage only came out yesterday, so it'll be slow to come back around. But people have TikTok memories these days. Like they've seen what they've seen on Saturday, and they got their short little fix, their dopamine hit. They've seen what happened, and I think it's going to be hard to override that, despite in the light of the actual situation being released yesterday. So we'll see where it goes. Ultimately, I want vindication for Mason Cox in this situation, and solace from the AFL and sports media moving forward that these situations should and will not happen again. It doesn't matter what stripes you wear, what colours your jumper is, black and white, black and yellow, black and red. They should be protected from avoidable situations like this. We want to focus on the footy. Well, here's a situation where sports media and AFL can avoid the extra narrative and focus on the footy and not manipulate footage. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. I'd be keen to hear anyone's thoughts from any fan base or in the AFL world for that matter. So thanks, guys. Have a good day. Bye.